Hi, Cult of the Amateur. Kieran here again. Hope you're all right. Sorry I've taken so long to get back to you in this video exchange. Being a dad has taken up a lot of my time lately. I really enjoyed your last two videos on this topic of the Arab Spring stuff. Okay, you were trying to explain your political taxonomy again. Firstly, I'd like to say the word taxonomy I think is great. I'm going to try and use the word taxonomy wherever possible in future. You managed to give me a few more clues towards your understanding your system this time, I think. I really appreciate your efforts. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm really becoming a convert or really fully understanding it, so I'm sorry about that, to be honest. Okay, let me just start off for recapping what we've been talking about for people who might be new to this. You're dividing the politics of the world and the Arab Spring in particular into two factions. You call one faction the globalizers and the other traditionalists. You see good and bad features in both, and think that a balance of power between the two might be the best outcome. You also make the point that the Occupy movement of recent years in the West won't stop globalization in your view, as you categorize them as basically being globalized. Feel free to correct me if you think I'm getting the wrong end of the stick with all this, by the way. Okay, so let me give you my latest thoughts on this stuff, which unfortunately haven't changed that much since my last video. But anyway, okay, globalization for you seems to mean unfettered capitalism at the world kind of level, coupled with good human rights and democracy. Now, while some might argue that unfettered capitalism does such a great job of increasing standard of living or something, the human rights and democracy will inevitably follow. I could easily argue the opposite, that the capitalism leaves some people so poor and marginalized that they are denied human rights and democracy because they can't afford them, kind of thing. So your taxonomy that lumps the human rights and democracy in with unfettered capitalism seems to, pardon me, have a pretty controversial claim built in, which makes it not really the best taxonomy for us. Now, on the other side of your divide, you got those you're calling traditionalists, seem to include pretty much everyone who seems to be standing against globalization, as far as I can see. Crucially, you're including socialist states as a kind of traditionalism. As I've probably said before, I can't quite understand this, as socialist states, from what I've seen, are keen to rebuff traditions such as religion, nationalism, the family, and so on. So apart from that, you include the Tea Party and UKIP here in the UK as traditionalists, when they seem to me to be more like globalizers, or to a large extent globalizers, opposing taxes, government interference, etc. Maybe in reality, UKIP and the Tea Party kind of straddle both sides of the division, because their activists are probably global, more like traditionalists rather, and their kind of financial backers, or the big boys, are kind of globalizers within their group. Though I hasten to add that I haven't really researched those groups, and I'm just going by what I've sort of read in the left-wing press a little bit there. So to sum up, I'm not really agreeing with your categorizations, I'm afraid. You've also said a lot of negative stuff about the Occupy movement, Your main point being that they are globalizers themselves, and therefore don't really oppose those you'd think they're opposing, like the global capitalists. I'm not an ardent supporter of the Occupy movement or anything, but I don't really agree with what you're saying, because some things they are opposing the main bit of globalization, namely capitalism. You also see them as lifestyle activists rather than serious activists, and relying on capitalism for their lifestyle. Well, they probably have an element of hypocrisy, and may well have some things in common with those they oppose. I don't see why they should be sort of singled out by you for having these sins. I expect most movements, including successful ones in the past, have been guilty of these things as well. As I said in my last video, any movement that has to grow out of the society it occurs in, and probably, it's probably going to feature people who were successful in the existing society to some extent. Positive change isn't going to come from flawless, saintly people. It's more likely to come from just some people who have a slightly better ethos than what's just gone before. Okay, well, not sure I've got that much more to add now. What seems to be happening in this discussion is that you're repeating your ideas to me, and I'm not really getting it or not agreeing with it, which may well be my fault. I really enjoyed talking to you, and but it's up to you if you want to continue this exchange on this particular topic. I'm happy to discuss other stuff you want to talk about in the future, and anyway, I'll hopefully chat to you again soon. All the best, mate.